looking at it is, can we say that African economies are really sovereign, or are we still in a kind of capitalist system, only that is quite hidden, is opaque? We can't really see it as obvious as it used to be. I don't know if you are at liberty to answer straight that kind of question, but
well, so I wouldn't say that it's a problem of capitalism or socialism. It's none of those. But the question of sovereignty is very key. Sovereignty is, do you have the ability to make your own economic decisions, for instance, about how you want to spend your money, how you want to create value for your raw materials, how you want to, expand your economy, the direction in which you want to go. To that question, the answer is typically no, because if you've seen what we have gone through in the last 70 years, that has been the experience. Our basic economic policies and theories that we are learning from the schools are actually at variance with our experience as a people. I have mentioned this a couple of times elsewhere, that if you live in a resource-abundant country, an economy, and a continent, for instance, your basic theory shouldn't be starting with scarcity as the fundamental problem.
right.
You should have abundance as the starting point of your analysis.
Yeah.
And then scarcity is just one minor part of that.
Okay.
But we have been taught over and over the years. Before I graduated, 30 years of my life spent learning about how scarce,
Scarce resources.
resources are.
Yeah.
But sitting in my, tropical rainforest, the experience doesn't show that. Yes, there are quite a number of things you have to do to transform the land and to turn it into something. But there are so many areas when the rain just falls, you see cocoyam sprouting here and there, cassava, you just need a stake on the ground. So we are living in an abundant territory,
Yeah.
but we have accepted psychologically
Yeah.
that this is a poor place.
Yeah.
And we have actually been conditioned over and over again that it has become like the basic fact of life. Africa is the richest place. So we should start teaching and talking about wealth.
Yeah. I find that very, very interesting, because I kind of see what you're talking about. The time when I was growing up, the time I spent in the village, I never really knew about scarcity. It was quite ideal, like in terms of food was, your basic needs were met, and like you're saying, things grow, and you are always, full. You're full, like. But yeah, you go to school, and most of what we learn is about scarcity of resources, which then makes you grow up believing and thinking more in that mindset until you voiced it.
Yeah.
I didn't really
Yeah.
think of it.
It's very subtle. And, we live in it, and it's taken as given that is the natural order. No, it is not.
Yeah.
It's an inversion of the natural order.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. So today, for instance, the tomato farmer in Avrongo is trying to cultivate his tomato not to consume, but to exchange it for paper.
Yeah.
See, the cocoa farmer is doing the same. Everybody is almost about doing the same. We have shown that this type of approach
Is better.
Yeah, we need to start to think about, first of all, feed the family, feed the community, and then you can talk about trade. But that has been taken over. And since that has also happened, it means that most of what we are trading has become commodities that we can only export.
Yeah.
So the focus now is about export commodities.
Yes.
Rather than, so Ghana has
Feeding Ghana
Yes.
rather than feeding ourselves.
Yeah. So if you look at almost all the things that we consume, rice, for instance, we have some of the best land in the world for rice cultivation. Yes, we spend billions of dollars to try to bring rice here.
Yeah.
We have the land and the expertise here to grow chicken, but we don't actually satisfy up to 50% of even our poultry needs. So almost about everything that we have to eat and live in this land is brought to us by somebody who is sitting in a temperate land, who hasn't got much land, growing them in laboratories and sending to us. So this kind of inversion is one of the things that if we have to be serious about development, we must begin to change. And I think maybe we are waking up a bit because if you see, we have the Minister of Agric now, who himself is a farmer, a president now who himself is a farmer, and then a deputy minister who is also a farmer. I hope that these experiences, when they are translated into the political sphere, they should help us at least get food sufficient first. If you can feed your bellies, the rest can, take care of themselves.
Yeah. It's very interesting that we have abundance and we can grow enough to feed ourselves and then look at the excess to export. Yeah. But because of this scarcity mindset, and again, it's interesting because what we then export, which is like in the raw form, we get next to nothing for it because we've been fed the same scarcity mindset. So we are just like really working hard to send for very little back, and then we're spending loads of money buying back food that we could easily produce ourselves and have a more fuller feeling, more full like abundance feeling than what we have at the minute.
Yeah, food first.
Very
always.
Always.
Yeah.
Yes. So for us to take back our sovereignty still comes back to the agric sector and comes back to using our resources to the best that we can instead of plucking from somebody's system straight into us as a direct translation, which doesn't really is counter to our
experience.
Yes, our reality.
Agric, definitely, but not in the way in which our forefathers did it. Today there's technology that reduces the human labor and the drudgery that goes into farming. And those are some of the things that at the public policy level can be encouraged. Irrigation, back in the days, in the 70s, we always go back to this because that was the first time we had massive irrigation infrastructure. I mean, when you look at the entire country, from the Tono to Via to Dawenya, all of these massive infrastructure projects in irrigation, small-scale dams that help to cultivate the food at the local level, communities were largely self-sufficient. With all the things we can say about the military regimes in the 70s, especially the mid-70s, was that they managed to make us see that you can be a professor and still be a farmer. You can be a politician and be a farmer. You can be a market woman and be a farmer. So small spaces that we had, we can cultivate food and begin to feed the family. And then when that happens, we can then talk about feeding industry, and then the excess we can export. So sovereignty, really, what you eat is very key. Rather than what you earn, that comes secondary. And sovereignty comes in many forms. In your financial system, you must own the financial system. How the money is created at the moment, almost throughout the continent, it's in the hands of others, not us. And this has gone on for quite a while, and our money system is not decided here. If you look at even the printing of currency across the continent, this is what goes on. So we need to gradually begin to see that the game we are playing is not our game, and we have to get back to our own local game, which we know better.
And thank you to our cherished viewers and listeners for tuning in. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed, and do share and like to amplify our voices to create the change we need. And don't forget to grab yourself a copy of our book, The Great Return. It is on Amazon in all forms. And if you're doing or thinking of doing business or investing in Ghana or the rest of Africa, then we can help. Get in touch on tgrafrica.com. Book a consultation to discuss all forms of collaborations and partnerships both with us and with others, and also for business and investment advice and guidance. And last but not least, to check out all the other great stuff we're doing and how you can get involved. See you in the next episode.